Go live Bouton. And he's like, why the fuck doesn't she leave? Monka is. And is that working? Is it working? Okay, thanks. I guess I'll just try to figure out where we left off last time. The 44. It's like an hour. God, was it really that far back? Hold on. Oh god, it's gonna be a while. Alright. To get back to like the missed portion of time. There we go. We can just chill here in auto zone. So it should be up to the first package then. Out of food. We'll eat this dirt. Packages here, painting. Then he freaks out a bit. Let's chill here for a bit. Then I get to move this. Oh wait, since I made that, I can use it. I can't. Oh, nice. joking. Alright, so here's end of the box scene. So you can see how far we are from it. This is what I want, but I want to make you mad or argue. Just want to get close with you, smooth with both of us. Don't try to involve yourself with me. Don't go probing info, and if you can't do that, leave. Seems Jill really didn't know about me. Despite being sent here from my house, she was unaware of the monthly deliveries, as well as the reason why I lived in the mansion all by myself. Why, though? They were not told her anything. Why'd she been sent here, left completely in the dark? She looked at me, fear and bewilderment in her eye. I thought I could see a glint of suspicion beneath it all. Like her true feelings were bubbling to the surface. Everyone had darkness in them they kept hidden. No one knows exactly who they appeared to be. She was undoubtedly thinking, I'm not here because I want to be. If the moment I saw her, that her bubbly, sweet effect was all a facade. But she thought I was dense enough to not realize it. She's no different from anyone else. What I didn't understand, though, was why she refused to leave no matter how hard I pushed. What was she hiding beneath that innocent-looking face? What was she thinking? What did she carry on her shoulder? Everyone's hiding something, deceiving those around them. I had to figure out what she really was. May I ask you something? Yes. The day you arrived, you said you made a teeny tiny mistake while working at my family's house. Tell me about that. So I think, do you remember this part where they're like arguing? Alright. So let's just skip ahead then. Do you remember this part where he snaps? Alright, let's go back a bit. Yeah, that's essentially what's happening here. Grabbed her shoulder, clamping down more powerfully than I meant to. Ow, stop! Her face contorted in pain and morphed to someone else's. Who was I directing my anger at? Or was this rage being aimed? Who are you calling an abomination? What? Tell me who? Black fur bubbling up from within me knew no end. The girl, she ridiculed me. She denied my identity with her glare. I couldn't escape from the phantom, that reality. What are you? I never called you a... No, get away from me! Get your hands off me! Jill's scream echoed in the entrance hall, rattling my eardrums. She frantically smacked my arms aside, then I came back to my senses. She was standing a little ways away, breathing heavily, arms wrapped tight around her body, glowering at me. Showing her opposition to my touching her. Ah. Enlightening. No, you just, startled me, that's all. Some servant you are, telling your master not to touch you. Oh, right, you know, I'm, allergic to people. It's very unique condition, I hear. I mean, can you believe that? So you know how people get all red and itchy when they touch a dog or a cat? It's that, except for people, so, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I beg your forgiveness. Why don't you speak your mind? What? This is going through your mind right now. I have nothing to apologize for. No, that's not... I can somewhat sympathize with your plight. Being made to apologize even though you're hurting. I raised my hand against you first, after all. Then you forgive me? Sympathy does not equate forgiveness. Now you take care of the package. I'm heading back to my chambers. What is it? You're not going to make me leave after what I just did? No, I am not. Or it would seem. I can make you leave on your own whenever I so please. Besides, I had yet to learn what she had done. It'd be exceedingly difficult to get the story from her own mouth, which left me with one option, to write a letter to my mother, as much as the thought revolted me. Bad. Several days had passed since the package arrived, and my third week in the mansion was drawing near. Mikhail wasn't getting any friendlier either. He continued to either snub or bluntly dismiss me whenever we crossed paths. I didn't understand why he acted that way around me. But there was... Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, Kirby! No! There's a little point in asking what he seemed to think. Okay. There you go. Okay. There's a little point in asking what he seemed to think. There was little point in me talking to me at all. Although at first I'd been sure there had to be some way to get him to warm up to me. The more time I spent at the mansion, the more my willpower began to feel as if it was at its breaking point. I could tell myself to stay positive until I was blue in the face, but it would only work for so long. The only pretty place in the whole house. I'm glad he hasn't covered it back up. Blue moonlight shone quietly through the stained glass window, vainly illuminating some of the room. I hadn't noticed until now, but the room with the stained glass window appeared to be modeled after a chapel. Rows of pews facing the window, below which sat what used to be a pulpit. There's very little left of it, though, and an awkward length of silver was mounted to the pulpit's front face. That was, assumedly formed a cross. And upon further reflection, rather than facing the window, pews seemed to point at the pulpit, or perhaps the cross hanging on it. I wasn't sure why there would be a chapel in the mansion, but I had no one to ask about it. For a house of this size, the statue of Christ or the Virgin Mary seemed more appropriate. It's a very well-made chapel at any rate. I doubted Mikhail had it built for himself. There would be no reason for him to cover the window if that were the case, nor had I ever seen him come to pray. He doesn't seem like one to believe in God. Not even sure if God really existed, then surely the world would be a much more pleasant, peaceful place. No unfair disparities in money or power, no senseless misfortune. I certainly wouldn't have found myself here either. But God was evidently quite fond of giving mankind trials, so he would probably tell me with a straight face that this was one too. Or perhaps we simply had a false impression of him, and he didn't actually give us anything. Merely sat back and watched from somewhere far, far away. It wasn't his job to bring peace to the world or ensure our laws were fair. That was all mankind's responsibility. What is God? What are angels? I have no idea. Maybe the Bible has answers. Or should I pray to someone so far away? How do I know my prayers is even getting there? But still, it's not like I have any other option. Alright, that means you don't know about this part. Don't you worry. It'll all work out, I promise. I already know where I'm gonna work. It's a really prominent noble house, way out of reach of some small-time merchants like us. You never know, this could be my big break. Nah, I'm just kidding, huh? Don't look so worried. I'll be just fine, honestly. I'll make enough money for us to get back on our feet. For goodness sake, I can handle it. Leave everything to me. You just wait, I'll make our family into something you can be proud of. I'll be fine. Yeah, say bye to Mom for me. Probably won't be home for a while. What? You're afraid I'm gonna make some careless mistake? I'm not that airheaded. I could be a refined and elegant young lady. Those nobles won't even know what to believe anymore. You don't believe me? How about I give you a little taste? How are you doing this fine morning, master? Your morning beverage is ready, prepared with the utmost care. See, how about that? Not bad, huh? What? You think it sounded forced? I was the daughter of a merchant who ran a shop on the capital's main street. My father had passed away in the plague, so it was just me, my mother, and my older sister. It would be a lie to say business was doing well. Struggled to squeak by day after taxes. But we couldn't just abandon the shop and leave the capital either. So we tried to make the best of what we were able to take in between the three of us. Then my sister fell in love with a moderately well-off aristocrat. My mom and I were supportive of her in her desire to marry. But their union almost fell apart because she was not suitable for him. Merchants were hardly the lowest class. What we lacked instead was wealth. We needed another source of money, beyond what the shop took in. If only we had money, my sister could get married. If only we had money, my mom wouldn't have to work so hard. If only we had money. It was then that someone from the distinguished Boilinger estate approached me. Said they were in need of Abigails and would love to have me. Said that if I agreed to work for them, the Boilinger estate would take care of my family. Generally speaking, noble houses took Abigails from other, lower-ranked noble houses. It was unthinkable for someone of my status to receive such an offer. So I took a once-in-a-lifetime chance and accepted the offer. I just pray that nothing bad happens to my sister, and that Mom is getting enough money to live comfortably. That's all I can do. They're nobility. They have plenty of money. Enough to spare some. The light shone through the stained glass window began to grow murky, fading to blackness. It felt like a message from on high. That no, my prayers would not be answered. The bluish-white illumination shining down upon me disappeared as clouds blocked the moon. Oh, come on. You don't even want to look at a sullied woman like me? Now, for heaven's sake. I never asked to end up like this. Sullied! Oh, it's thundering outside. Meanwhile, at the same time, their nobility. They have plenty of money. Enough to spare some. Oh, come on. You don't even want to look at a sullied woman like me? Oh, for heaven's sake. I never asked to end up like this. Giselle was sitting at the top of the pews in the room with the stained glass window. Just looking at her, you might have thought she was offering a prayer. But the words coming from her mouth were anything but prayerful. They're filled with resentment. You have plenty of money, a sullied woman. And then, I never asked to end up like this. So this is what's beneath that facade. Most likely money is what she's after. All I need to do now is confirm my suspicions with them. Just what awful secrets will I uncover? I gave Giselle, sitting in the pew with her head drooped, a cursory glance before leaving the chapel. I had somewhere else to be. The bitterly cold outside air felt like dozens of needles flowing into my lungs. It had been so long since I had stepped outside beyond the mansion's walls. Thick mist canopied the night sky, blocking out the moonlight. Naturally, the heavens did not rejoice at my leaving the house. It had been 10 years since I had last seen the mansion from the outside, and it hadn't changed one bit. A gloomy scar upon the earth, shrouded in darkness. Hardly the kind of place someone would enthusiastically approach. Nevertheless, it was better than that house. Ooh, owl noises. Yes? Who is it? Mikkel. What? Mikkel Boilinger? Just one moment. Right there. Come in. It's a humble abode, but make yourself at home. Wow, I must say that's rather unexpected. Just one word and I would have been up there in a heartbeat. And how was I supposed to do that? I am regrettably fresh out of carrier pigeons. Oh, right. Yes. My apologies. This man living in a small cottage not far from the mansion had been hired by the Boilinger family. His job, to watch over me. That said, we never actually interacted. He was tasked with keeping track of whether I was still alive and whether I remained in the mansion. The monthly package from my family was delivered to him, which he then passed on to me. It was insipidly convoluted, but it was indicative of how much they wanted to avoid anyone learning about me. Well then, what can I do for you? The manservant was visibly rattled. Afraid, too. But not because of the difference in our social rank. I had a pretty good idea of what he had been told about me. He was afraid of me, or more specifically, my curse. People fear that which they cannot comprehend. Not just children, adults as well. They fear demons, witches, and curses, anything impure or not of this world. But they had long since gotten used to being viewed as such. It didn't sadden me, didn't disappoint me, didn't pain me. Some things were too foolish to concern yourself over. Though, it certainly doesn't make me feel good, either. I was on some level annoyed. That woman's appearance at the mansion had created ripples and... Oh god, what the fuck? Yeah. What the fuck? Okay. Dumb doggo. So before I got into real reason of my visit, I decided to, take out a bit of my frustration. Raise your head, there's no need to be afraid. I don't know what you've been told about me, but I promise I don't bite. How rude of me. You're right, my sincerest apologies. Your job is to keep watch over me. If the mere sight of me has you trembling, what will you do if I try to run? I would have little trouble escaping. That would be quite unfortunate. But would I ever tell your mother? I'm not sure that would end well at all. You could lose everything you've been paid so far. In fact, you might be lucky to get out with your life. Surely your mother would not. You're aware of who you're dealing with, right? Mikhail, the cursed youngest son of the Boilinger family, who made a pact with the devil. I don't need a blade to take your life. You wouldn't even make it back to report anything. Have mercy, Lord Mikhail. Please do not leave this mansion. Please spare me. No, only joking. What? I don't have the power to kill by way of curse. The man fell silent, but the look upon his face said, You are cursed, though, aren't you? When someone's got an idea planted in their head, it's nigh impossible to get rid of it. I am so cursed that anyone could see it. That I need to be locked away in a dark mansion. I'm here because I had a question for you, not to warn you that I had planned to run away. Question? For me? Yes. Approximately 3 weeks ago, a black-haired woman came to the mansion. Tell me what you know about her. I was told there would be an Abigail coming, but that's all. I don't know anything else about her. I swear that's all I know. I haven't been told anything else. I believe you. Never thought they would tell you anything. Right. He had been hired to observe me, but that's all he was, a hired hand. He wouldn't be privy to the Boilinger family's internal affairs. Take this. Letter. I need to deliver it to my mother. You just left it in the box from this month's package, and I would have collected it when I dropped off the next one. I am in urgent need of information. Will you do this for me? Yes, why yes, absolutely. I'll fetch a delivery boy tomorrow morning. Much appreciated. Good night. You too, do take care. Lord Mikhail? Yes. Is it true that you don't have... Would you like me to sew your mouth shut so you can never open it again? No, not at all. My sincerest apologies, my Lord Miguel. That was horribly disrespectful. Good night. Oops. Sir, cursed I most certainly am. Just, scream when you start passing out, I guess. Lamau. Really? Okay. He left the mansion in the middle of the night to deliver a letter. To get info from Mother. On Giselle. Do I already need to stop? Okay. My mother's response arrived just 10 days later. The delivery boy must have pushed his horse quite hard. It was almost exactly a month after Giselle had moved in. And shortly thereafter, on a bone-chilling night, everything came crashing down. The rift between us grew deeper, and the wall between us was almost impossibly high when I lay bare the scars in her chest, and then mercilessly plunged my knife into them. AKA, ya boy, just about to, like, yo, I know your secrets, and just say them to her. And it's like, but why would you do that? But why would you do that? Meanwhile, how do we get to this point? I hate everything. My spirits were growing darker and darker, like they were slowly sinking into a deep morass. I've been at the mansion for a month, and every day since felt twice as long as I should have. I had been optimistic at first. I'd even had a little hope with me. That me and Mikhail could get along together. But it hadn't taken long for that hope to be shattered. The cheer locked away within, inside me. We lived in the same house, but we never spoke anymore. On the few occasions we did cross paths, just gave me a cold glare, nothing more. Scorn and suspicion in his eye. Whenever he looked at me like that, it felt as though my throat was being constricted, like I was deep underwater and running out of air. Like my very presence in this world was a crime. Never could have imagined just how agonizing constant rejection was. Started despising others, despising myself, despising the world, convinced there was no one who could set me free. Considered running away from everything rather than live like this another day, but I would have done so long ago if that were actually an option. They found that I had fled, that I had acted outside their wishes. My mom and sister would pay. I had succeeded in allowing my sister to get married and my mom to live comfortably. I would give them happiness. Couldn't take that away from them again. Not after what I had to go through to do it. No, cut that out. You're getting way too depressing, Giselle. Put yourself together. It's not who you are. Be positive. The negativity didn't only come from my interactions with Mikhail either. No, there seemed to be some kind of terrible presence within the mansion that twisted people's hearts. The mansion was in fact a bit of a local legend, which I had been informed about before being sent here. People claimed that it was cursed, and that an evil witch had lived in it for many, many years. Mikhail joked that he was the witch, but I didn't believe him. Not usually one to believe in magic or curses at all, but being here so long can't help but wonder. Anyway, things can't go on like this. I was to remain in the house. The situation needed to improve. A lot. I was going to lose my mind if things kept up as they were. I was ready to give up once. I'm going to try closing the distance between us again. If I could get him to open up even the tiniest bit, then maybe that would make living here a little easier. I wasn't going to try to make us best friends or anything. Just repair a relationship enough that being around each other wasn't torturous. Got my work cut out for me. How do I even begin this conversation? Heck, what is the conversation even going to be about? Maybe I should hold off, do it another day. No. Made up my mind to do this, so I should get it done quickly. The longer I wait, the worse things are gonna get. Eventually there won't be any fixing anything. We need to talk. We need to be in the same room for more than 10 seconds, and we need to get to know each other. He needs to know that he's not the reason I have something to hide. Okay. Let's do this. I made my way to Mikhail's chambers, which he had told me to stay away from. My stride was slow and ponderous, but at the very least, I did my best to keep some semblance of a smile on my face. Now, this is the one time that I'd really like to have someone to give me a little nudge. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay. Pardon, Master. There's something I'd like to talk to you about. Master? I guess he's not here. The door wasn't locked. As was the rest of the house, this room was shrouded in darkness. Only light came from the candle in my hand. Master, are you there, Master? I guess I missed him. It's probably best if I don't stick around for long. He's already got a less than stellar impression of me. I don't want to imagine what'll happen if he thinks I've been snooping through his room. Yeah, I should get out of here. Spun around on my heels, taking a step towards the door, when I caught sight of an object draped on a black sheet. I knew I had to get out of there as quickly as possible, but I was intrigued by the object. Something kept hidden in a room I was been forbidden to enter. Maybe it was a clue to discover Mikhail's secrets. Reached my hand towards the object, knowing good and well I shouldn't. Was it because I wanted to learn about him? Was it because I wanted to tear down the veil he had hid behind? Or was it the whispers of the witch? Alright, we got a painting. Pulled off the sheet, revealing a framed painting of what appeared to be a noblewoman. Are you okay? Should I just stop? She's trying to repair their relationship, so she went up to his room and he wasn't there. And then she was like, oh shit, it's not locked. He's not here. Confirmed. Time to leave. Oh shit, there's a covered painting. Or there's a covered something. Maybe it'll have a secret that I can, like, think about. Anyways, appeared to be a noble woman with porcelain white skin. What stood out about her, though, was the woman's hair was as pale as her skin. Then... what? I noticed something else. Wide gashes ravaged the canvas, damaging her face beyond repair. What the? I imagined it'd been a painting of a beautiful woman, but there was hardly a trace of that left. The only thing it inspired anymore was a deep chill. The damage was not accidental, it was deliberate, angry, and the contempt emanating from within the frame was stifling. Thick, suffocating blackness seeped into me. Why would anyone... She was surely a most beautiful woman. Angelic, even. A storm of questions assaulted me. Who was she? Why had her face been carved up? Why had the painting been covered? What had happened? Who could have... There's only one person who could have done this. Mikkel, why on earth? You saw it, didn't you? You saw the painting, didn't you? Huh. You entered my room without permission and you saw the painting, didn't you? Angelic, you say? There's nothing angelic about that damned woman. I scrambled to make some excuse, but nothing would come out of my mouth. All I could do was tremble. Oh hey, shit, a knife. Why did you enter my chambers? What were you looking for? Answer me. My mouth wouldn't move properly. Couldn't make my voice come out. It was like I wasn't even in my own body anymore. The wisps of air that were drawn into my lungs were expelled as hoarse gasps. My breaths were shallow and rapid. I was inhaling, but I wasn't getting any air. I was terrified. Terrified. Of his eyes, of his voice, of his feeling, of the knife he was holding up to me. Of the terrible past I was chained to. The man's voice, the man's very flesh, terrified me. What were you trying to find, and what were you planning to do with it? Answer me. Another thing you refuse to tell me about. No, I'm trying. Nothing's coming out of my mouth, though. Everything's so bright. I can't catch my breath. I can't breathe. It's fine, though. You have to tell me. I have a pretty good idea. An idea what? What do you mean? Money is what brought you to the Boiling Estate. It's what brought you to me, too. There were countless people who would love to see that house fall. But a noble family fears nothing more than disrepute. You were, I presume, approached by someone scheming the Boilingers' downfall. No. And as it just so happens, the Boilingers have a very unfortunate secret, one they are desperate to keep under wraps. Me. Some suspected I might still be alive, so they sent you to dig up information about me. The very existence threatens to tear down that house. Kirsten's youngest son of the Boilinger family. Mikkel, who made the pact with the devil. Who's supposed to be dead, but is very much alive. You sweet-talked your way into the house and into information about me and my present situation, and you meant to trade the information for money. I bet whoever it was put quite a handsome price on it, too. Maybe the one plotting the ruin of the Boilinger family is you? But no, that's not true. Then enlighten me. Please, hear me out. I didn't know anything about you. I wasn't sniffing around or trying to bring up you any harm in any way. Then tell me, if that's not the reason you wormed your way into the Boilinger estate, and that's not what you're doing here, Tell me what it is. Tell me why you came to this mansion. You want me to tell you about that? No way, that's asking too much. Tell me. Sorry I haven't done anything wrong to you. I simply wanted to make our life together a little more comfortable. To bring you some warmth to this frigid relationship we have. That's the only reason I want to find out more about you. I must assume I'm right then, Giselle. Just tell him he's wrong. I must tell him I mean him no harm. But I can't say anything. Merchant's daughter, becoming an Abigail at a noble's house. Could you come up with a more obvious lie? Your father's the one who... Wait. How does he know that I'm from a merchant's family? You look perplexed. I may be imprisoned in this house, not free to move around as I please. But I have my ways. I know everything. Everything. And he knows about that, too. At least I do now. Please, don't. In your quest for money, don't say it. You slept with my father. Well, there you go. In that moment, Mikhail plunged his knife into my heart. He carved through my chest with those words, causing me to completely lose control of myself. In a panicked frenzy, probably screaming all the way, I knocked the man aside and ran and ran and ran. Couldn't hear a clap of thunder in the distance. I wished a bolt of lightning would come crashing down upon me. Maybe if God burned my tainted flesh with a divine thunderbolt, it would get rid of some of the filth. The jagged streaks of light cascading across the dark clouds did not strike me, only creating restlessness. Restless grumbles in the sky. Well. Why? I knew that I'd fled the mansion. I would likely be causing trouble for my mom and my sister, but I was helpless to stop myself. All I could do was run from all that threatened me, with no regard for the consequences. Before long, small droplets of rain began falling, which soon grew heavy enough to penetrate the forest canopy and reaching the ground where I stood. The downpour drowned out my tears and my cries. Because I had rushed from the mansion without even putting on a cloak, each cold winter droplet stung bitterly against my flesh. But the bite of the rain was like a warm embrace compared to what I'd been through before. Mikhail had spoken the truth, as much as I wanted to deny it, to avert my eyes. Reality was forever engraved in this body. No, I don't want to think about it. But I had no say in the matter. Get out of my head! Whoa, trauma for your loved ones. Yay. Oh, well, we're getting a flashback of it. Antonin, get over here, Giselle. Okay, may I ask why you asked for me here so late at night, Master? Oh, I just wanted to have a little chat. Care for some wine? Come closer, I'll pour you a glass. I had this wine imported from up north. They're very hard. They use very hard water, and I'm like rather tart, so it leaves quite the lasting impression on your tongue. Yet it goes down so easily you can't seem to stop. What do you say? Have a sip. Or does your expertise as a trader allow you to evaluate a wine's quality without tasting it? No, but please, Giselle, don't trample all over my good graces. Very well then, I will have a sip, Master, but no more. Have you ever considered growing out your hair? Having long hair made it difficult to do my job. You're not a merchant anymore, though. You deserve to look like the woman you truly are. I have no doubt longer hair would accentuate your natural beauty. It's a gorgeous shade of black, so deep a man could get lost in it for years. It would contrast the color of your skin fabulously. Highlight your eyes, your cheekbones, your nape, your shoulders, and your chest. I should get going. Oh, but we're not done talking yet. But I would not want a lack of sleep to interfere with my ability to work tomorrow. Thank you very much for the wine. It was no need to be so cold-hearted now. From the moment I first laid eyes on you... Master, that's enough fooling around for one night. Now, don't be afraid. I wouldn't do anything to hurt you. Simply want to express my love. But let go of me. I only came here to work, nothing more. The first time I saw you, I thought it would be a tragic waste to leave you to wither away working at some little street-side job. Stop. Can't tell me you didn't know a merchant girl had no place in a house like this, even as a servant. There's only one reason you would be allowed here. No, I swear it never crossed my mind. It would seem you're even more innocent than you look. But you figured it all out now, haven't you? Oh, no, let me go. Stop this. Keep your voice down. Do not shout, Giselle. If anyone were to find out about this, you would be the one shouldering the consequence, not me. But you're a maid, and I'm the master of the house. Whose word do you think, though, holds more weight? Don't worry. I won't do anything to hurt you. I promise your family will be exceptionally well taken care of. Oh god, what is this, like, vocoded, like, voice? Your mother will have the comfortable life you wanted for her. You know what will happen if you raise a fuss and make a fool of yourself. Not only will your family not get any of our money, not only will your sister not get to marry, you'll all spend the rest of your lives on the streets. How could you be so cruel? This is blackmail. Blackmail? For a merchant's daughter, you don't know much about trade, do you? Let me give you a little lesson about market value. The goods you're after, Giselle, are not cheap. Understand? Now let me see that beautiful body of yours. Well, that sure is clothes ripping. He was an older man, so I kind of expected him to be very strong, but I couldn't break free of his grip, and I found myself entirely at his mercy. Beneath the gaudy outfits lay a hungry beast, and I was seeing the creature's true colors for the first time that day. The aging man ran his disgusting, slobbery tongue across my exposed skin. Everything he placed his hands upon withered away. Every piece of flesh he pressed his lips against petrified, rotted, decayed, rankled. I trembled in revulsion at which the man laughed, seemingly interpreting it as something else. I wonder what kind of place hell was. If hell's wardens only flayed and carved their prisoners, I would have preferred that instead. I would have rather been sliced into little tiny chunks and cast into the hellfire. I would have chosen eternal torment over being touched by this man another second. But I didn't get to choose my hell. Eventually the man forced open the gates I had been holding fast, and spread his festering death inside me. Well, these sure are choice words. Listen to me, Giselle. It is in both our best interests to keep this between the two of us. Can't do that, I'll continue to do good by you. If you could do that, I'll continue to do good by you and your family. Oh, don't look at me like that, please. I'm thrilled to have you here in this house, Giselle. She has long since lost her mind, after all. It's torture just being in the same room. And my sons, they hardly ever come home. But you, Giselle, you give color to my dull life. Make it exciting once again. Now go back to your room. I'll be waiting here at the same time next week. Couldn't escape from that man's grasp, nor not when he used my family against me. Some weeks I would not go to his chambers, my one feeble mean of resistance. But when I did that, he would send another Abigail to come find me the next day. Couldn't ignore his summons when he got other people involved. And then when the two of us were alone, the mask would come off, and he would discipline me for not showing up before taking care of his usual business. On good days, he would leave bruises in inconspicuous places. My abdomen, my inner thighs. But he went as far as carving a word into my skin with a knife. Harlot. That was why I was afraid of knives. That was why I was afraid of men shouting. I wasn't even sure what to regret anymore. I was in too far deep. Far too deep, there was no turning back the clock. I even considered taking my own life on more than one occasion. But every time that thought crossed my mind, happy memories came with it. Back when it was just the three of us girls and the shop. Life may not have been easy, but it was never dull either. Didn't want to end my life at its absolute lowest point. I wanted, if just temporarily, to go back to the way things had been back then. That objective was the only thing that allowed me to keep going. When I was in his presence, I tried to convince myself I was merely an object. I had no emotion, so he couldn't hurt me. It's merely a vessel, a construct of flesh and bone. His hands couldn't reach my heart, for it was not connected to my body. Doing that made it a little easier to bear, but the reality was, it was impossible to completely sever my heart from my body. Liddy, you're Giselle, aren't you? One day the mistress of the estate stopped me in the halls. She had supposedly once been quite beautiful, but now she was only haggard and bony. Her skin dry, her eyes sunken, her hair faded and stripped of its luster, her head down, her cracked lips barely moving as she spoke. Age didn't appear to be the only thing working its merciless magic on her either. There seemed to be something eating away at her from the inside too, something that could burst at the lightest touch. Yes, I'm Giselle. Is there something I can do for you? The missus rarely ever left her chambers. I've been told it had been years since she attended family supper, so it would bring her to come looking for someone at me. It's you. What? I wasn't sure I wanted to know the answer. You're having relations with my husband, aren't you? You are, aren't you? Madame. You wretched creature. She was telling me the truth. One of my trusty maids caught a glimpse of you through a crack in the door. She saw you with him. Where is it? You filthy rat. You seduced my husband, and you devil, you conniving witch. You don't get it, do you? You don't realize how grievous your sin is, do you? Summon anyone, restrain this girl. She's a demon, a devil. Tie her up and hand her over to the clergy. No, that won't be enough. A witch, you have to burn her bones, scatter the ashes, or she'll come back to life. Yes, execute her. Kill this woman, burn the witch. Seize the piece she's stolen from me. Cursed, it's cursed. This house is cursed. Not only has it taken my daughter, and now it's trying to take away my husband. Oh God, please shine thy cleansing light upon this house. I knew it would be a waste of breath trying to talk to her. She was not of sound mind. There was madness in her eyes. I didn't even have to make a fuss about it. It happened all on its own. There was no way around it, then I should have just done it myself after the first time. I didn't have the energy to argue with her or cry or to shout. Before long, a crowd began to form around me and the sobbing mistress, and in it stood him. I assumed he would just stand back and watch, but much to my surprise he stepped in with an embarrassed look on his face to try to settle his wife down and convince her not to have me executed. Maybe he did have a heart after all, or maybe he just wanted to save face. Regardless, instead of being burned at the stake, it was decided I would be sent away to some remote forest. One of the previous Bollinger family heads had purchased a mansion there long ago, but it had been abandoned because of the stories people told about it. They said a cursed witch dwelled in the house. She had returned to life after being executed, and now skulked around in darkness. It was the perfect place to banish a sinner. And so, accused of adultery, I was in a carriage on my way out of the capital the next day. You still coherent? Yeah, no. Yeah. Alright, I guess we stop here then. So you're not even like loud enough to like respond loud enough for me to understand. Alright, I guess we'll stop here then. Monk ass. Yeah, I can't understand anything you're saying. Guess we'll just stop here then.